One. Greetings, everyone. P. Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Live Album Love, alongside, as always, in the co-captain's chair, Mr. Rick Labonte. What's going on, my friend?
Doing very well, my friend. I got
Friday
some,
morning. Here we are. You got your coffee, you got your water, you got your
yeah, yeah.
stack of Iron Maiden CDs, because today is all
Yes,
about
I do.
Iron Maiden live albums, right? So
Now,
lots.
before we get started, what was the first tour that you see? I seen him like kind of late. I would kind of saw him like in the seventh son of the seventh son.
Oh,
By this time, I had all the records, and I'm only 18 years old. So I just started going to concerts when I was 16, and they didn't come around again to 1988. So that was my opportunity. But everybody who was saw live at the After Death tour, the Power Slaves tour, were telling me that this is the greatest band you're gonna see live at this time. Forget your Led Zeppelin, Wick. They're done. You got to come and see a new band like this. So, and it's kind of funny because they're not new now by then, but it was one of the greatest shows I ever saw, and still to this day made a major impact. I've been an instant fan since I saw Bruce Dickinson running around like he did, and he was so athletic and vocals were so sharp, and the stage that they had for the Seventh Son would look like they're on top of top of the world, like Arctic or Antarctic at the bottom, but it was all like snow landscape, and it was just well done production, and the sound quality was great. So made a big impact for me. What about you? What was your first Iron Maiden show?
so
I've met.
I had the opportunity to go see them on the Number of the Beast tour when they were touring with Judas Priest. But because my brother and I were going to go, but because he had like his SAT exams or something, not SAT, I don't know, he had some kind of test or something that he had to see, that he had to take. And so he couldn't go. And so my father was like, well, you shouldn't go either then. So I was like, all right. So I didn't go then, but I did get to see them on the Peace of Mind tour. In fact, I saw them twice on that tour, which was great. And I will tell you, I saw them on the Power Slave tour at Radio City Music Hall with the gigantic stage set up, and that was pretty amazing. I
Yeah,
saw them then. I saw them on the Somewhere in Time tour. I didn't see them on Seventh Son tour, but I did see them on the tour after that. And I didn't see them with Blaze, but I've seen them a lot in recent years.
me too.
I've probably seen them like the last five tours easily. So I've seen them a lot. I've seen them a
Yeah,
lot.
me
But
too.
yeah, I'll always remember seeing them. The special ones for me was seeing them the first time on the Peace of Mind tour at a smaller venue, and then seeing them on the huge stage at Radio City Music Hall for the big spectacle that was Power Slave. That was quite cool.
Yeah, well, and I think you guys had Twisted Sister was opening up back in the day.
No, I never saw them with Twisted Sister.
Okay, because they did tour with them.
I saw them with Queensryche. That was on the Power Slave tour. So with
Oh,
Queensryche
okay.
opening up, I saw them with Coney Hatch and Fastway opened up on the Power Slave tour, which
How
was pretty
fast way.
cool. And I've seen them with various bands over the years, but
Yeah, right on.
I forget who opened up for them on Somewhere in Time. I don't remember. I'd have to look that up. I saw them at a big place too for that. But I don't remember who opened up on that tour. I got the ticket stub. I'll have to go look.
Yeah, me too. I collected all. Well, so what we do with this, we go through it just so the public know. When I get all these albums that I get, and I put them in order of the years, and but when I get a live record, I usually slide them in where they were touring for that record. Like for you and I being Deep Purple fans or even Zeppelin fans, they have all these live recordings that come out much later than would release on time. And so, like for example, just one year, let's say I pick random, like 2013, Deep Purple put out a live 1993 album of the tour with Richie Blackmore before he left. They put out 1996 live at the Montreux, 2006 live album of Montreux, all in the same year. They would release in all these archives. And so what I do when I want to place them in my thing, I could go on to 2013, but I put it right behind the tour that they're doing. So if they were doing a certain album, I would put that. Like Perfect Strangers, they released a live album that they did in Australia. I put it right after Perfect Strangers, so I can follow the tour. And same with the Who. When I put the Tommy album, I put all the Live at Leeds, all the things that and other shows that was around that time, but in the order of the dates. So Live at the Hall was before Live at Leeds. I would put it before that. So I did that because it to me when I'm looking at, I got the whole timeline of the band's live performances along with the studio stuff. So like Iron Maiden and Deep Purple and others, they put out a lot of stuff on archives. And so this is what I'm going to do. I'll show, like, for example, we got the first two albums. We know the history of it, but there's a live recording that back up some of this music that was with the first singer. And this one called Made in Japan. This is the one that you shared with us on Sequenquility, and you went and got it, and I went and grabbed it because you mentioned it. It's not the original one that was a shorter version of this, but this is the complete show. Yeah, there was one before that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely the original version was only a short set, and I believe it was from the night before this one was recorded. So this is like a South American release that contains like a full show from the night after that particular the original release. I don't know why anybody would not want this because it sounds really good and it's got the full performance.
Full performance. And what a great show it was. I love the way they captured it. I mean, I think it's great. Got the original drummer and
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's pretty historic. And what a set list this was. I'm
Pretty
looking
much
at it
everything
again.
you'd want is on
Oh
here.
man, I love a lot of these tunes. And Killers is one of my favorite records. So to
Oh
see
yeah.
them perform in that, and this was like to me, like this was like I feel like I was Indiana Jones finding a lost relic to have this in my collection. I'm so glad. So obviously we continue. You mentioned the D2 concert, Number of the Beast, phenomenal. And we know the story. Bruce is in the band, and then Nick gets in the next Piece of Mind, and then we have the Ultimate Power Slide. Now I do have live DVDs of them live in 1983 of some of their concerts. I didn't bring all my DVDs. It just I bought a lot out of there, but the one we're gonna talk about, the legendary Wait Out for Power Slave, the one that they put out for the world to let everybody know they're one of the greatest live acts in the world. And of course, I got this to the DVD because I love this show. But what's great about getting this is that you get another side of an album from England where this is just the complete show in Los Angeles, and they give you a little bit more that wasn't
Yeah, the weird thing about
performed
this
at the
release
show.
over the years, there's been so many like versions of this with leaving songs out, putting songs back in because
Yeah,
you
well,
have
I
the
don't know why
original
that is.
vinyl. It's like, yeah,
I love the remastered,
yeah.
reissued, and well done. And they could, Martin Birch again, another great recording of capture them live like this. I'm sure it's not an easy task to do at that time because it's such a rowdy audience, but it sounds so good, and you can hear the crowd, but you hear all the instrumentation. It's great. Love this. And even when you look at the album cover, there's kind of a story going on, right? The Egyptian, then he rises from the dead, and goes in. They've been really creative using Eddie as helping theme with the record. So
Right.
that's cool. So next great album, Somewhere in Time, and this is the tour that I saw, and they duplicate some of that snow stuff in the background as a stage. It was fantastic, and for the longest time, I always wondered. Now, for just so you know, there is a live recording of Somewhere in Time. I have that a video download of them showing you kind of a bootleg, sort of a decent version. He was wearing the suit with the heart would pumping and whatever, and he had all kinds of problems where had a battery would die. Now, but they were saying this was a great show, and Steve Harris was upset that we kind of should have filmed this in a real good way, like we did with other shows that they captured. It's kind of a little bit of regret, but there is a couple of footage out there that you can get, and I did get it from YouTube. I basically pirated it, but I want to see it on a DVD because this was a pretty fantastic tour. But to get to this, they eventually will come out with live Made in England '88. So you get the set list that they did in North America right here. And also, they released it on a DVD. And so I had to get this because it's like me watching my own show. Now I saw him in Joe Louis Arena. It's not even open no more. In Detroit, very legendary place where Bob Seger recorded his album. Some live at the Gonzo from Ted Nugent down there. Pretty legendary place. And but to me, I felt like I was watching my show because they did the same set list. Some of the, all the things that, all the props and all the things that happened with Eddie happened just like in my show. So I felt like I was just jumping in memory lane to see all this. But this is a well done performance. And I gotta say, audio wise, it's even an improvement to Live After Death because of today's technology, right? They upgraded, it's remastered, done really well. But this is a live concert between two shows, 27, 28 November of 1988. So, right now.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah. So what I gotta say? Have you seen any of that footage? It's amazing. You gotta check it out. And I really love that album, especially knowing that they were doing a concept album. They kind of made it like you were walking into, um, I don't know, it's a play, but it was very theatrical how they did the whole show, going from one song to the next, making it feel like it felt like it all belonged to Seven Son of the Seventh Son.
Yeah, well, I think they've always throughout the years they've really tried to make their stage presentations a little something extra special than just going and playing a selection of songs, right? I have seen some tours where it was just kind of that, but I think I've seen plenty where they really put some thought into how they're going to lay this tour out and the set list and whatnot. So I think I like when bands go that little extra mile to do that for the
Yep. Like the Rolling Stones, they always had a different set that would never duplicate in another tour. There was always something a little different in the presentation. Unlike Rush, when they did Presto, they had the giant rabbit pop up. They would use that prop for the next 3, 4 tours because they own it. They got to use it. Where Iron Maiden wasn't afraid to throw away all the Egyptian stuff and bring out a whole new thing and never use it again. And it was a lot of money, I'm sure, because it wasn't a cheap set. They didn't go, they went all out, even in the flooring. And so no matter where you were in the theater or arena, I should say, you could take a picture and you're getting something to represent that tour, whether it's the floor mapping, the backdrop. So it's not only the songs, it's now the whole attitude of that show. And it's so fitting because we will see Eddie in a different form, right? Eddie was always changing from tour to tour as well. So that's cool. So we know the story. Adrian Smith leaves Iron Maiden, and I'm so glad I saw him with them at the original lineup before that happened. That could have happened, and I'm glad I didn't miss out. So we have No Prayer for the Dying and Fear of the Dark, and they put out 3 live albums. And I don't have them all because some of the songs are repeated in other 1993 live, like they could live at the Donington or whatever.
Yes, Donington, yeah.
Yeah, it's August 22nd, 1992. But they had 2 live albums of the same, similar, but the set list altered a little bit, called a Real Live one and a Real Dead one. And I don't have them, but I have some of the footage and I have some of the sound bites. But I have looked at it and I found it finally. And there's a package deal that can get 2 of those being sent to me. So I want to check that out. So that's cool. But I think it's a good concert. I got to tell you. And what's great about this is that every one of these albums, you get a few songs that was featured live. They always play a little bit of the album. Where some people criticize they might play too much of it. Not me. I was the fan that was saying, I already heard Number of
There's a
Beasts.
lot of fans who say that actually.
Yeah, and I was the kind of guy who was looking forward. In fact, your brother was the same way. We were talking about it when we went to the Dream Theater show at Radio City. He said, I'd be looking forward to the song that they didn't play ever live. And I like it when they at least do 40% new material, 60% of something that we offer.
But that's what bands historically always did. You do a tour because you have an album to promote, and on that tour, you're going to play at least 4 or 5 songs from the new album. That was always the case. I
That was
don't
the
know
norm.
why people don't like that anymore. It's like they just want to hear the same old songs over and over and over again every tour. It's like, it's got to be boring for the bands, but they're trying to promote their new music. It's like, see, I
Right.
love new stuff, but people nowadays in our age group, they don't want to hear the new stuff. They're like, if they play new songs, I'm going to go to the bathroom, I'm going to go to the bar. And it's just like, come on. It's like, you got to give the new music a shot. It's
Yeah, I think that's what the a dilemma for Iron Maiden because they do recognize there are new generation fans who never seen this. Some of them performance. It's kind of like a bucket list for some people. Go, oh shit, I never seen Iron Maiden yet, and they go see them, so they want to see the classic. But for the faithful followers like us, we're in tune with their progress. We're in tune with what they're doing up to date. So we're actually with them in real time. We want to hear their new material,
yeah.
and whereas other people just want to hear the soundtrack of their lives, right? The stuff that they heard when they were young. And when they used to walk around with an Iron Maiden shirt or a jean jacket, and so they want to relive that time instead of Iron Maiden's alive and well today, right in the present,
It
and they
has
got some
been. Yeah.
great shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so good point, good point. Obviously, the reunion tour came back at the band having their Mr. Harris back, Brave New World. They put out Alive in Rio. Now there is a 1985 live. We have that on a DVD as well, or a CD, no, video download, I should say. But this one, again, they provided the actual CD, the audio. This is what I'm doing mostly, is showing all the physical product of the audio, not all my DVDs. But this was great because I love this album. What a comeback to come up, and they played quite a bit of it,
Oh yeah,
and they gave you
Bruce comes
everything
back
what
with
they
a vengeance, right? I mean, yeah.
Oh yeah, that was an exciting time for an Iron Maiden fan. And now in between, they did put out a thing. I don't have it, but I learned from online is a BBC archive that now some file of snippets of shows of their past, and that came out in 2002. So that's 2 years after this. And another live album that I don't have, so I want people to be able to look out and find it. Kind of hard to find some of these things, called Beast over Hammersmith. That was released in November 4th. Again, the same lineup, the same kind of tour, just some altered set list a little bit. Okay, next is a Dance of Death, great album. Love these artwork. You got to admit, one of the things that you could say about Iron Maiden is that the album covers are pretty fantastic. There's maybe one that I'm like, I scratch my head a little bit, but other than that, this is amazing. Um, I have, and a lot of these things, I have the making of the record too. There are lots of, you can see it on YouTube if you want to see every album. There's Kevin Shirley was start to be interviewed about the process of putting these records out. Very interesting stuff. All the ones that I've just mentioned have something like that. In fact, when you get some of their live DVDs, they throw the history of Iron Maiden with these discs so you can get extra stuff. They don't. One thing, Iron Maiden always throws everything out, not just the artwork and what they do on stage, but when you get a live album, they throw some extra stuff if they can. They're just really all about giving everything they got. Next album, great album with that. I remember getting this little kind of an action figure of him on a Eddie into a soldier outfit. A Matter of Life and Death. And the live album that comes after that, and I got it coming, but it didn't make it today. I didn't know about it till we talked about doing this show called Death on the Road. That was released, and you got it live. Yes, Death on the Road, and it's coming to me in 2 days, but August 29th, 2005,
Yep.
which is what you tell me about the album since I didn't hear it. What do you
Yeah, it's
think?
really good. It's got a great set list. So it starts off with Wildest Dreams. And again, you mentioned before we talked about how they blend in stuff from the album with classics. So this has Wildest Dreams. It's got Wrathchild. They don't play Wrathchild all that much anymore,
Not really.
right? Can I Play with Madness is on here. The Troopers on here. Dance of Death. Rainmaker, Brave New World, Passchendaele, Lord of the Flies. So right there on disc one, you have a ton of newer songs, or newer at the time. Disc two, you got No More Lies, then Hallowed Be Thy Name, Fear of the Dark, Iron Maiden, Journeyman, Number the Beast, and Run to the Hills. So pretty much half of the set is recent stuff at the time. I like that. I don't mind that because you get a bunch of classics and you get the newer stuff and it's all blended in very well. Because I mean, yeah, I can understand if they started off the set with like five new songs. You don't want to lose people right from the beginning. So let's get a newer song, then we throw in Wrathchild, Can I Play with Madness, Trooper, and then a bunch of other new songs, and then some classics and some new songs. That's the way to do it. Really good sounding, very, very good live album. And in fact, this is the last live album of theirs that I ever bought because there's just so many of them. You know, it can only get so many.
Yeah, the one thing I noticed, and again, I can understand why. Um, I never, I never got the X Factor. Okay, I never got the what the other one, virtual,
Virtual XI,
or
Virtual
whatever.
11, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever it's called. I never bought them. I just can't get it to me because Bruce Dickinson's my guy ever since I saw. But they don't have no live footage of any or live releases of that. So just for people to wonder if there's anything out there, I haven't seen it. And with Bruce in the band, I don't think we'll ever see it unless they all retire and they bring out some stuff for whatever reason. But
Yeah,
I
there's
can't
not
see.
not a lot of interest in the Blaze years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what? I might just to so I'm people have heard me say this before. I don't have any issues with Blaze Bailey as
No,
a
me
singer.
too.
I think he's a fine singer. His solo stuff is pretty damn good. I just don't think he was ever right for Iron Maiden. Just me personally. I just don't think that voice fits with the music.
You know, I went and YouTube that album X Factor and played it. Musically, I loved it. I have to say, like, they can I
Not
can
terrible.
hear Steve Harris. I can hear, but the voice that came in, it wasn't Iron Maiden potential without Bruce. And then not no discredit to him. I just think it because I am biased. I think I am too much of a Bruce Dickinson fan that I didn't give him a real chance, to be honest with you. I'm probably being a dick about it, but I just couldn't do it. I wasn't gonna get it. And but I went and broke down just to listen to it, say, well, Rick, how can I have an opinion without even listening? That's not me. That's not my personality. I don't shit on something unless I, really don't like it. So I listened to it. I gotta admit, it's still good. It's still not my Iron Maiden. That's all.
Yeah,
That's all.
yeah, I hear you.
And it's okay. It's almost like those albums never existed. In my time, they don't, it's like
A
my
lot of us have just
reality.
kind of
They
like
didn't
shut
come
them
in.
out, right? It's just like they're not there, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's not
they did
the,
release two albums with that guy. Yeah. Oh, that's right.
all right. And it's interesting because I did that with Uriah Heep. I got everything, even if I didn't like one of the albums, which was 1988. Or same with Deep Purple. I did break down and get, Slave and Masters, even though I didn't want to because I didn't have Ian Gillan. But, I did it. But I haven't got there with with this band. Anyway, Flight 66 is the next one, which is 2009. Again, that's just a pretty much a compilation. It's every song been done live, so it wasn't something I was in a hurry to get because I have those songs already. So anyway, now I think the album might be questionable. I remember Chris Allo even asked him when they did a press conference or something like, "Is this Eddie?" But this album cover it
Yeah,
changes Eddie quite a bit.
yeah, it's pretty
And
good.
but anyway, it's a I like this record, and they toured in South America and got this live. It's called En Vivo. Vivo. I'm not sure if how to pronounce because it's Latin. But what's great about it, they got a lot of that tunes on here. And, they got Dance to Death, the Talisman, the Wicker Man. They put a little bit of the new stuff, the Blood Brothers, of course, and Fear of the Dark. And only a handful of four songs that are stuff from the past that they played live that we all know about. Now, this is great. I love this record, by the way. This is one of my favorite. It's the Book of Soul. And they put out a live record in a book form like this with this two CD set, and it's called Live Chapter.
That cover is
And
great. Huh? Look at that artwork on that cover. That's
yeah, oh, it's fantastic, brother. And it's like, it's a nice collection, got a nice booklet, all these photos. It felt like you got a program, the program that was on the tour and two of the discs, and great sounding, and everything here is just I love the version of these songs. And to get some songs like The Great Unknown, The Book of Souls that you wouldn't get on other live albums. There's quite a few of the repeats that you know, but with the that tracking list, it made those songs sound like a fresh live album for me. It's not like they open with Aces High and it's do the same opening. You know what I mean? They change the set list enough that if you get the Trooper, where they sandwich it in the track list, it's perfect. You know, you heard some three or four brand new tunes, and you hear something from the class, but you know, blast of the past. But it's just a great record. Oh, I love this live album. I played it quite a bit. I bring that out quite a bit. And then next is this is the tour now. This is the time when they're in between albums, and it's been a while, and they're just going out to keep themselves fit. And it's called the Legacy of the Beast Tour. Now, this would be that greatest hits live, right? They're now going out doing whatever people been wanting them to do. No new stuff. Give us your anthology. Basically, that's what they did here, and it's a great show. I saw them in Toronto a couple of times, and yeah, it's great artwork. Oh yeah, this is fantastic stuff. They even give you like thicker stuff. It's a really cool little poster here. Really awesome. I mean, Iron Maiden's so classy when it comes to giving stuff for their fans.
Oh yeah, they're all about the merch.
They
They got
are, they are. They go all out. I mean, not in a childish way, like maybe Kiss Corporation kind of went a little far with the dolls and stuff and lunch pails and stuff, but they did it where you felt like you're still cool to have these things. But mind
well,
you,
because they kept it centered on like the physical media, the tour, the million
right
different
on.
shirts, maybe action figures, but that's it. They don't really go too
Yeah, yeah,
overboard.
like this one, you know. But it's always about the theme, and you never get it. It makes it a collector's item to get these kind of things, and um, yeah, Iron Maiden did great with that. They have their own mascot, but they give a lot of knickknacks and stuff like that that people can collect, and it's yeah, it's easy to decorate your music room with Iron Maiden stuff. That's for sure. And of course, they have this record, and I don't have anything of that live stuff left. I imagine their last tour with before Nico retires, right? They have some footage. So I wouldn't be surprised if you and I will see a new DVD or a final one with him in the band. And what does that mean for Iron Maiden going forward? Do they grab another drummer? I know they had to finish the tour with somebody else, but do they carry on? Are they in limbo right now? It's hard to tell. It is May of 2025. In a month from now or two, we may hear some new announcement. Do they pick up the banner with a new drummer, or do they call it a day? So it's important that we mention this, but I believe there will still be another live album of that recent tour that we just happened
Yeah, probably.
to release to have a closer. Knowing Iron Maiden, that would be their coda moment, right? The last music to the last note is having a wrap up with that lineup, I believe. What do you think?
Uh, I think they at least have one more big, huge tour left in them. I would have to think because if knowing Iron Maiden like we do, they're going to go out with a bang, right? So if they decide that, because replacing a Nico McBrain is not an easy thing to do. He's been the drummer for so many years now.
Yes.
But you got to imagine some of the other guys are probably, I'm sure if Maiden were to retire tomorrow, Bruce still has a solo career that he can pick up immediately. Adrian's doing the thing with Richie Kotzen,
Yep.
Dave Murray doesn't really do anything outside of Maiden and, Yannick, but I'm sure they could if they wanted to, or maybe do these guys need the money? Probably not.
No, that's what I was
Um,
thinking.
yeah,
They're comfortable, aren't they? And I
yeah,
think they might want to go out with the memory that they have. And of course, they went out on a high note because Bruce still got his voice. They're still in good shape. But when you have a stroke like that, we know that all of them are at the same age, so it's got to be a real physical job for them to do that stuff. I mean, it's not, this is not Tom Petty and Harper. This is Iron Maiden. It's just a physical job,
Yeah.
and it's
2 hours
pretty.
every night and they're running all over the place.
Yeah, running around and instead of kicking the soccer ball that they normally do, or football, they call it football over there,
Yeah.
soccer that we know it, and staying fit. But are they doing that today? And so it's an interesting thing. I know Bruce Dickinson is touring a little bit
Yep.
recently, and then I've heard that some of them are writing books, telling their story. So who knows? But if they do have anything, I know they have stuff on the archive. They can continue to release stuff. Because one thing about Iron Maiden, they documented their whole career really well.
Yeah.
There's always, you
My
know what I
guess is,
mean?
yeah. Whether we see another album from them, I don't know, but you would have to think they at least have one more big, this is the final tour, the goodbye tour in them. So the guy who filled in after Nico dropped off of the band, I think he's the drum tech, right? Was the drum tech for many, many years, if I remember correctly. So I think they feel comfortable with him. They know him rather than bring someone totally new to the band to
That's
do.
a good point. He is
So
family. He's part of the family already.
yeah,
He's part
so
of the machine.
that really makes sense, but you would have to think at minimum that they got at least one more big goodbye tour in them. Or maybe they are not even thinking that. They're just going to keep going, doing what they're doing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, hey, they did carry on without Bruce. So, I mean, that was kind of nervy but they were still young enough that they didn't want to stop. I mean, that was what in the late 90s. So, yeah, I get it. But it's 2025 today. And like you said, it's not like they need the money, but I think they need closure. And even if they did a one-off here and there,
Like a big, like a festival appearance or something like that. Uh-oh. We lost Rick. Uh-oh. All right, we lost Rick. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. But anyway, yeah, so we'll see what happens in the future with Iron Maiden. But as far as live albums go, there are plenty of them to check out. So if there's any of these that we showed or Rick showed and mentioned today, please be sure to go out and check those out. And thanks for watching this episode of Live Album Love. We'll see you next time here. This is on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as a post. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, our Cameo page, and the Sea of Tranquility membership options all down below. Thanks, everybody. Greatly appreciated. And we'll see you next time on Live Album Love. For Rick Labonte, I am Pete Pardo. See you soon. Bye-bye.